Jesus' disciples found themselves on Saturday. They were in a place of darkness and isolation, locking themselves in a room for fear of what might happen next. They were directionless and disillusioned. Just hours before, they had witnessed their friend, their teacher, their rabbi, hanging on a cross, struggling for every breath, and eventually dying a humiliating criminal's death on a cross on top of a hill for all to see. Can you put yourselves in their shoes for a moment? They didn't know that Sunday was coming. They had to sit in the darkness of where they were at. And that's what I invite you to step into today. To step into waiting as they had to wait. Not necessarily knowing what would happen next. Culture offers us so many different ways of escaping. We can drown ourselves in our schedules, the busyness of the life that we create. We can escape into the stories of movies and video games. We can escape into drugs and alcohol. There are so many different avenues that are wanting to pull us away from an opportunity of growth. But today, I invite you to wait, to be like the disciples, having to wait on what would happen next. Because there's a few things that happen when we wait, when we are forced to sit where we are. The first is that it helps grow our faith in God. Because when we wait in the difficult spots that we might find ourselves in, we are having to acknowledge that God is in control. And we have an opportunity to give our fears and our worries and our anxieties to Him. Because He wants to take them for us. He wants to bear that load. Secondly, it helps us grow in our relationship with Christ. Because often in times of adversity, things that are unimportant are stripped away. And it takes us to the bedrock of our relationship with Christ. It drives us to our knees, to a place where we have to acknowledge, Jesus, I need you. So today, I invite you to take a few minutes to do that. To be in the stillness, in the darkness of the tomb, waiting for what will come next. Because unlike the disciples, we know that Sunday is coming. Today's reading acknowledges the darkness that the disciples found themselves in. Yet it also acknowledges the hope of what was to come next. Matthew 28, verses 1 through 10. After the Sabbath, at dawn on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to look at the tomb. There was a violent earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were as white as snow. The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has risen from the dead and is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. Now I have told you." So the women hurried away from the tomb, afraid yet filled with joy, and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly, Jesus met them. "Greetings," he said. They came to him, clasped his feet, and worshiped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me."